All right, so let's go ahead and pivot over to Anthony Rendon. You seen any of his comments lately?
I did.
Okay.
I did. He just likes to spark some controversy, doesn't he?
Yeah. So remember we talked earlier on Anthony Rendon where he was saying things like, we covered him last year actually in a short where we talked about swiping at a fan. It's one of the first shorts we did on the channel. Be sure to check it out. But he also had some comments in that year where he'd say, no habla inglés today, or I'm on the IL, so I'm technically not here. He just refused to answer questions to the press. Yeah. And now we're kind of getting a good idea of reason why that's probably a good thing.
It was probably a better idea for him to just not say anything. Again, he's been a subject of controversy for the last couple of years, right? He's had his things. And recently in spring training, he says, but when being asked about baseball in general, and how it ranks, he says, it's never been a top priority for me. This is a job I do to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving. I mean, this dude just signed a 7-year, $245 million contract. And he's a great baseball player. The fact is you have to shut your mouth. You are a professional athlete that gets paid to play a children's game.
Let's talk about one of the comments he made on a podcast earlier last month when they asked if there's one thing he could change about baseball. Did you hear what he said there?
No, I didn't see that one.
He said the season's too long, man. 162 games a year, 185 days. And that's the part that I want to mention. If you have a Major League Baseball player that's counting down not how many games there are in the season, but how many days he's obligated to be involved, that's telling of a player. Here's the thing. We always say that we want transparency. We want honesty from these players. And when we get it, we don't like it, or we run them through the mud for it.
There's transparency and there's being professional, though.
True.
You know what I mean? Like at this point, you're not even being professional. Like to take it to that level where you say that this is just a job. Dude, you are one of the most uniquely talented people on the planet, just being a professional sports player. Have a little bit of respect for the game that it is, the game that's giving you the life that you're currently living. Like the reason that you have your family and they're allowed to come first is because you were gifted. Have a little bit of respect for the game. Have a little bit of respect for all these players that are coming up, doing everything they can, putting in all that work that you had to put in too, to just try to make 1/10 of what you're probably going to make in your career.
And when it comes to the transparency part of it, we talked about the season being too long and needs to shorten up. Keep in mind, since he signed that contract with the Angels, he's averaged 50 games a season. Talking about the season being too long, I don't know where he's getting that from because he hasn't been in a full season since he's been in an Angels uniform. Is baseball top priority for a lot of these guys? Probably not. It's not their highest priority. Anybody who says my family, my faith comes first, obviously that's a lot of players. And he's not the only player to say that. He's not also not the only player to think it. He just isn't the player that should say that, because
after only playing 50 games a season for the last 3 years,
saying that the season needs to be shortened. He's not the only player who thinks that. And while it all may be true, he's not the player to be saying that.
Right.
So while everything he said is probably true and everything he said, it may be 100% honest for him as a player, he is just not in a position to be saying these things.
Yep.
If he was any other player that didn't swipe at fans at an early game last year, get suspended, refused to talk to the press. We shared a short on Instagram about how Shohei Ohtani refused to even engage that he was sitting next to him on the bench. He's obligated to, family, faith, but the people he needs to be obligated to is the front office for the team that's cut his check, and also the players in that locker room. If he's not giving his 110% out there, he's got to answer to those guys.
Yep, and be available. Be on the field. Go out there. Give it your all while you're out there, because I'm not a Halos fan. I haven't seen a whole lot of this guy play, right? Obviously, I don't cheer for the Angels, but I bet you it probably shows in every single game that he plays that he doesn't care to be out there.
We want transparency in the media, and then we blast people for doing it. I think that's kind of one of the things that we need to kind of take in. You wanted him to talk. He talked. He gave you an honest opinion, which is what you wanted. And then you guys blast him in the media for it. Don't think that's right on the media to do, but also he's not the player who should be saying these things. He needs to stay obligated to the team, needs to get out there, needs to do his thing.
Yep, totally agree.
But yeah, let us know in the comments down below there, folks. Let us know what you think of Anthony Rendon's comments. Let us know if you think what he said was out of line. If the media's blowing it out of proportion, let us know where you feel on that for sure. Also, folks, if you are watching this live on our live stream, or if you're watching this on the podcast after, we do cover these subjects in a little shorter terms and a little shorter subject videos that you can see in a playlist. Everything that we've talked about in the MLB will be in a playlist right here, so be sure to go ahead and click on that. We also have a subscribe button right here in the center. Make sure you click on that to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos.
If you're watching on YouTube or watching one of our short videos, the whole thing's available as a podcast right here, audio only, wherever you catch your podcasts.
Absolutely. And this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.